Good morning, Intenders.
Good morning.
Welcome back to Morning Intentions. Today is Thursday, November 20th. Thank you for joining us this morning. Annette, thank you for joining me. We're continuing on with our month of What's Your Why, moving from hustle to heart. I have to say, before we dive into our content for today, these last 2 months have been life-changing for me. Recognizing how much of an influence hustle culture has been on my thinking. More than my life, it's really been on my thinking. Because we can hear things on social media, we can see it in the world, and say, well, that doesn't apply to me. But boy, when you dive in, you can see, and I saw how much my thinking and how I thought and how I saw the world was influenced by something I thought I had no part of.
Curiosity question here.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
Do you see now, because I'm like you, I can see, remember we started this because I thought it would be good for you and then it turns out to be really good for me.
As all good things start, right?
So what I have noticed is the amount of hustle culture ingrained in my thinking. This is just what you do, or this is what's going to happen. Do you see now, almost 2 months later, any difference in how you view your self-worth as you're letting go of or recognizing the impact of hustle culture in your life? Can you see a relationship to your self-worth?
Easily. I don't even need to think about that one. Easily. Everything I was doing was based on some sort of metric I gave it. I'd only feel good if, even with that feelings to-do list, I'd only feel good if things were how I thought they should be. Well, if I worked out enough, but we talked about that one. If I ate the right amount of calories. If I talked to the right number of people that day. And I'm just using the word right because it wasn't really a standard anybody gave me. It was how I felt about those situations.
And how they reflected on your worth?
Correct.
How did they reflect on your worth? So I don't really understand if you talk to the right amount of people, but let's use that. So you were supposed to be out.
Well, I'll just interrupt you. You'll know this question loud and clear, and you'll say, oh my gosh, stop asking me that. That's what you'll say to this. I'll always ask you, and it isn't always.
Oh, are you going to ask me this again?
Have I done enough with my life?
She asks me this literally every day. Have I done enough with my life?
Have I done enough with my life?
Isn't that what hustle culture is all about?
That's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm trying
Then why do you still ask me that every day?
Because that's the hustle culture mindset that I'm talking about.
It's so ingrained, isn't it?
It's ingrained. It's in those grains. It's there. It's deep grooves in my brain are saying, have you done enough with your life? No matter what, it always comes back to that question. Have I done enough with my life? Am I doing everything that I should be doing?
And that's why that value statement that we looked at and really reviewed over and over in October, that was so important. We have all the value we will ever have simply because we exist. It's not about how many people you see, how many people you talk to, how many people you know, how many groups you're involved with. Are you raising enough money? Are you making enough money? Are you working enough hours? All of that is hustle culture because we're all different. And I do see where anxiety is so much higher in people that have such high expectations of themselves. And sometimes they can be expectations that are, from where I'm sitting, unrealistic. An example would be like a mother with 3 little kids, also trying to be at the top of her profession, which is good, but she might be single. She may not have the support. So how much can she give to her job? How much can she do work in the classroom over kids' school and that sort of thing. Like, so then we try to be perfection in all the areas and we're exhausted. And then after a while, we don't even know who we are. And that leads to thinking about what we wanted to talk about today, Ada, because the whole theme of this week is, well, what if I don't even know my why anyway? Well, what do I do then? Well, we said the last 2 days, you've got to take time to figure it out. You've got to sit down. You've got to brainstorm. You've got to think about it. You have to let it percolate for a while. That's one thing. If you sit with it for a while, you might figure out what your why is. Also, letting go of old identities. That's what we wanted to share today, is that sometimes we need to let go of old identities in order to get to our true, authentic why. What I mean by that is that, remember, we're talking about meaning, purpose, authenticity. If I've been on this track of hustle culture, like what you're sharing, if I step back and say, but most of that doesn't even fit me anymore. Maybe it did. Maybe it did years ago. Maybe it did last month. But as we're doing this work together, we're finding, maybe this really doesn't fit me anymore. It's okay to let go of your old identity. It's okay not to want to be number one in the class anymore. Maybe there's too high of an opportunity cost there. That's okay. We have to give ourselves permission to let go of these old identities in order to let that true, authentic why in. Because if we're stuck in the old identity, holding on tight, we're not going to be able to get to that authentic why.
That's where that question I ask you comes from. Have I done enough with my life? That's an old identity that's still hanging on.
It is. It is, Ada.
And I'm going to give myself some grace. I only realized what was going on last month.
You mean in terms of that you were caught up in the hustle culture?
Yes, exactly. And if we've been in a certain mindset or doing certain actions for a long time, we do have to give ourselves time to get out of it.
Even asking that question, have I done enough with my life, is habitual.
Absolutely. It is a habit, an unhealthy habit, but a habit nonetheless. It's not something that I'll never get rid of. It takes time. So I'm almost 38. I'll be 38 in January, and I'm not ashamed of my age. I'm proud to be almost 38. The thing about that identity that I've had for myself, have I done enough with my life? Because I've felt that for years. If I've been in that mindset since middle school and high school, because it was really overwhelming, that's why I didn't try that hard. Like, that's too much to bear. Oh, I got to be doing all the things. Well, if I've been in that mindset for 20 years, I can't have the expectation that that's going to be done in a month or 2 months. That's something that I have to work through. Maybe I can take big chunks out of it every now and then. Other times I need to use that very fine sandpaper and just get a little bit out of there. Maybe I need to get the saw out. But when we're disidentifying with the way we've seen ourselves and seen the world, we have to give ourselves time. We have to practice self-forgiveness, as we talked about last week. I have to forgive myself for my ignorance of all the years that I spent in hustle culture, because I can't actually get to an authentic why that's filled with meaning and purpose while I still am holding on to the identity, or there's leftover bits of the identity in the part of me that wanted to engage in the hustle culture mindset. And with that, our intention for today is I will let go of old identities in order to have a true, authentic why. I will let go of old identities in order to have a true, authentic why, filled with meaning and purpose. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our day is better because you are part of our day. See you tomorrow.
See you then.